This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe. I'm here to tell you all to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and remember to turn on notifications. You will be the first to know all about the latest Dragon Ball news and information.
Oh, did you say UnrealEntGaming? Oh, I love his channel.
God damn it, Zelbon, stop rubbing your nipples and get back to bed!
The long-awaited return of the evil emperor known as Lord Frieza is finally at hand as Goku visits Frieza in the afterlife to recruit him for the upcoming Tournament of Power, all while back in Universe 6, a hidden power is awakened as Kale transcends into a monstrous Super Saiyan as the Tournament of Power is moments away from beginning. As tension rises and alliances are made, not only is Goku at this very point desperate to recruit Lord Frieza, but we also see the Universe 6 Saiyans grow in power as they transcend beyond that of regular Super Saiyan forms. What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super episode 93 breakdown review entitled You Are the 10th Warrior. Goku goes to visit Frieza, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 94 in what will be a spectacle before the Tournament of Power begins. But a quick plug before we begin: if you guys are new to this channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button for more news, information, updates, and of course discussions alongside gameplay reviews for all forms of Dragon Ball content. And make sure to also go on ahead and punch that bell icon, that way you guys are always notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel, as I will be covering various Dragon Ball topics throughout the coming weeks. And of course, if you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to go on ahead and head over to Twitter and follow me at UnrealEntGaming to be up to date with all that is in Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. And I thank you guys for your overwhelming support on the channel, as it does go a long way. So if you guys are new, be sure to go on ahead, turn on notifications, hashtag notification squad, to be up to date with all that is in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Super episode 93 is now officially in the history books, and judging based on Dragon Ball Super episode 94, we have mysterious assassins coming to Universe 7 to destroy Frieza. Now, one of the many reasons why this is because Kitera, the mouse god of destruction, seems to have something in cahoots with Sidra, the god of destruction of Universe number 9, as we see them intermingle and share information, as we see Kitera reveal Frieza right before Sidra's eyes, and we see these mysterious assassins having to come upon Earth with this massive explosion happening. One can only assume that Goku and Frieza are gonna have to work together to take down these assassins, since they want Frieza gone, since now we see Frieza on Earth for the first time in quite some time, and it looks like Android 17 is there. Everyone has assembled. This is going to be the calm before the great storm that is the Tournament of Power. Now, Dragon Ball Super episode 93 touched up on several things that I do want to explain throughout the duration of this video. Number one, let's start with the legendary Super Saiyan known as Kale. We saw, based on the way she was trying to transform, that the only way she was able to transform is getting a tingly sensation in her shoulders. That is something I definitely disagree with, because the Saiyans from Universe number 7 had more of an emotional time transcending into that power than people like Khalifa, Kale, and Kaba. However, as seen in this episode, Kale mimics the exact same moves as the legendary Super Saiyan Broly seen in the first and second Broly films, that being the energy blast having to emit from her chest, the energy blast slash Omega-like buster attack that she emits from her hand. We see how Kale is an exact copy and paste from the male version of Broly in the first and second films. Now, judging based on the way Kale was in this episode, she seems to be very emotional at Kaba, as she didn't want Kaba to have any interaction with Khalifa. However, in this episode, as many of you guys would agree slash disagree, some of you guys may feel as if it's needed for Khalifa to become a Super Saiyan 2, while others think it's complete nonsense. But in fact, as seen in this episode, Khalifa did transform into a Super Saiyan 2, which goes to show, because if we saw Khalifa maneuver her way around Kale, she deflected her blast, and at that very point we saw the expression upon Kale's face. She was very shocked, she was very concerned, she was very surprised, and also it looked like Khalifa was in charge of that battle by the very end of it. So the question arises, is Khalifa potentially going to be stronger than someone like Kale? Because it goes without question that once Khalifa noticed that Kaba was in danger, she transformed into a Super Saiyan, teleported right in front of Kaba, and transformed again. Where did she get this transformation from? She's learning it quick. Who knows, maybe when this tournament actually begins, she might transform again. So whether or not you guys agree or disagree with this concept, that's entirely up to you, but it was noted that if it were not for Caulifla, Kaba would probably be dead. Now that's the one thing I highly disagree with in this episode, was the tingly sensation. Every single Super Saiyan transformation we've seen in Dragon Ball Z was based on rage and based on emotion. Here, we saw that Kale was in a state of rage, and in order to calm her down, it looked like Caulifla was the one to pretty much give her the key words in having to calm her body down, in which she did shrink in size, and after descending down from the sky, we saw how it was all over and done with. So it looks like Caulifla is in fact telling Kale that don't worry, there's nothing going on between me and Kaba, because there looks like there's something for Kale in terms of having a crush on Kaba. So there is lots of romantic like tensions between the three. It looks like we have certain characters having crushes on other characters, and Kaba in the middle of this, I feel, was very disappointing because there was nothing Kaba can do when battling up against Kale. Kale completely smashed on through and put Kaba in his place, because once she transformed, in which I will say resembled Broly's transformation, was incredibly awesome. And with that, we also pan to Hell as Goku finally visits Frieza, and in which many people assumed that they were going to spar. Instead, Goku makes the offer and Frieza refuses. And we see, based on this, as I said before, there were one of two things that I thought previous Frieza may have wanted, that being immortality or life. And it turns out in this episode, Frieza wants his life back. And with Goku having to say this even before having to make his way towards Frieza, he told Vegeta, if Frieza betrays us, we will handle him right then and there. But in fact, we don't know if Frieza is gonna stick by his word, because once Goku made the offer, Frieza said no, which I thought was brilliant. However, as Goku was walking away, we saw how Frieza said, wait, I was kidding. And as he transformed, he told Goku, the only thing I want in return when we win is the Dragon Balls. And even as Goku mentioned the Super Dragon Balls, Frieza said, no, it's okay, I want the Earth's Dragon Balls to bring me back to life. And as we saw right then and there, based on next week's preview, Frieza does come back for 24 hours, which begs the question, are they going to go on ahead and pull the trigger and having Frieza come back when this tournament is over, just to give the audience what they want, just to give the audience a sense and idea of bringing Frieza and making him a part of the Tournament of Power, and then even afterwards giving him life, which furthers his character development down the line to see if in fact there is going to be another arc, or if Frieza is going to be a good guy down the line. And with that, this pans back to Kitera, because Kitera and Beerus have had a long history in the past, which ultimately makes sense because Kitera wants to get back at Beerus, and he does have a cunning plan in trying to destroy the Universe 7 team, in which he possibly meets up with Sidra and informs him about a dead fighter. We can all make assumptions as to why this is, and we can all make assumptions as to how Kitera's people were able to, manifest themselves in the Universe 7 realm, but either way, they were there in the beginning of the episode and they were spying on everyone to get back to the god and tell him what was going on. So obviously Kitera does not like Beerus, so he's gonna do whatever he has to do in order to put him down. But even with that being said, we understand the idea and the concept that despite everything happening, we understand that Frieza will be brought back, and in fact we see him in combat, because towards the very end we see him in his final form. He comes back to Earth, and it looks like there is going to be some sort of interaction between Frieza and Goku. Maybe the idea is that maybe Goku's gonna help Frieza combat these assassins, because you can't compare these assassins to people like Hit, but overall the episode held its weight. The episode was very solid, and I think the one thing we need to pay attention to is Kale and Caulifla, because as of right now they are stronger than Kaba, and if they're not gonna give Kaba the ball and run with it and giving Kaba a chance to also ascend, because how is it that Caulifla is able to transform into a Super Saiyan 2 so casually, and she is a Super Saiyan 2 because we saw the two transformations back to back. And of course, judging based on her hair, judging based on the lightning around her, we saw the difference in her hair, we saw the difference in her lightning, and of course we saw the difference in her demeanor as she became even more cocky, even more arrogant than how we saw her before. So even though we can place Caulifla as a good opponent for someone like Vegeta based on arrogance, based on pride, you have to ask yourselves as to where this puts Caulifla and Kale on the power charts, who's stronger than who, because with complete ease, we saw how Khalifa was able to take Kale's blast and deflect it without any problem. And at that very point, that's what caused Kale to calm down and noticing what Khalifa did. So for Kaba, we don't really know as to where he stands. Yes, as of right now, both of the females are stronger than him, unless of course they are saving a special transformation for Kaba in the Tournament of Power. Until that actually happens, that's going to be unknown, but as of now, both females are stronger. And as for Frieza, based on next week's preview, we understand that even though these assassins are after him, I highly doubt, and I really highly doubt, that anything will happen to him, but his bargain for Goku was in fact life. Now, the criticisms I had for this episode is if you look at the way Kale was fighting Kaba and the way she was gonna combat Khalifa, it wasn't as good as Ultimate Gohan versus Son Goku, and that fight having to be so engaging and very emotional, because they gave us a sneak peek as to how strong Kale is, because for the first time after she transformed, we saw both Kaba and Khalifa talk about incredible, her power is just amazing. She couldn't stop growing in terms of her nature. She kept getting stronger and stronger, and even then, her first target was Kaba. But aside from all of that, they gave us a preview, so you can't really compare the overall fight scenes because they're saving it for the Tournament of Power, and you can't really have a similar situation between Gohan and Goku because that was a completely different scenario and a completely different story being placed in front of this one. But if you also look at the episode preview, it looks like there's just more than just one assassin. If you count with your hands, personally for me, I counted 8 assassins, and we don't know where they come from. Obviously, they may come from universe number 9, or in fact, we have Kitara and Sidra gathering assassins from both of their universes and having them go to universe 7 and stopping Frieza. So maybe perhaps the fact that Frieza is dead is one of the reasons why they don't like the idea and Frieza having to be there and Frieza having to be a dead warrior, because as of right now, we don't know if anyone else has a dead warrior, in which case I don't think that's the case. I think our universe is the only universe that does have a dead warrior aside from that. But post your comments down below. I would like to hear from you guys. What did you guys think about Kale? What did you guys think about Super Saiyan 2 Khalifa? Did you guys agree? Did you guys disagree? Did you feel as if it was a cop-out? Do you think it was the right thing to do? Do you feel as if Kale and Khalifa are on par, or is one stronger than the other? And what are your overall thoughts on Kaba not pretty much doing anything, almost getting killed by Kale? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you guys are ready for the Tournament of Power to begin, go on ahead and slap a like on the video, guys. Tune back in for more if you guys are new. Don't forget to subscribe for more news, information, and updates. If you guys cannot wait for this, I cannot wait for next week's episode, as we do see Piccolo and Roshi and Android number 17 and Goku and everyone's together. So I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. Tune back in for the prediction video, and I'll be seeing you all down below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.